Have you ever imagined that a single penny could be worth more than a private jet, luxury yachts, or even a beachfront mansion in Malibu? And not just by a little but by hundreds of millions of dollars, because what looks like an ordinary 1985 1-cent coin from the United States of America has shocked the numismatic world with an astonishing estimated value of $863 million, making it one of the most expensive and sought-after coins ever discovered. And today we're diving deep into the full story, uncovering the rare combination of mint errors, mechanical flaws, historical timing, and one-of-a-kind anomalies that turned this single cent into a legendary collector's dream. And it all starts with what most would assume to be a standard Lincoln Memorial cent minted in Denver in 1985, part of a mintage that ran into the billions and circulated freely across the country for decades. Yet hidden within that massive production was one extraordinary mistake that led to the creation of a penny so rare, so uniquely flawed, and so perfectly preserved that it became a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, beginning with a catastrophic die error during production which caused the obverse of the coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile, to appear as a dramatic double die, with clear, naked-eye visible doubling on the date 1985, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust," where the doubling is not slight or subtle but powerful and unmistakable, creating a ghost-like mirror effect that adds immediate collector value. And as if that weren't rare enough, the reverse of this same coin, which should display the Lincoln Memorial, exhibits a rotational misalignment of nearly 180 degrees, meaning when you flip the coin, the reverse design appears completely upside down compared to the front, an error known as a dramatic die rotation, and when combined with the powerful double die obverse, this already places the coin into a highly rare category. But there's more, because metallurgical testing revealed the coin was not struck on a standard copper-plated zinc planchet, as was typical for the time, but rather on a transitional blank with higher copper content and trace elements of tin and silver, leading experts to speculate that it may have been struck on a leftover planchet from an experimental test batch or a foreign contract intended for another country. And this makes the planchet itself an anomaly, even before factoring in the errors and microscopic examination using advanced imaging technology confirmed that the coin's rim was slightly broader than standard and had unusually deep reading impressions, possibly caused by improper die spacing or collar slippage during the striking process. Yet the coin miraculously shows no signs of wear, damage, or circulation, and was graded a flawless MS-70 red by professional grading services, a near impossible grade for a coin of this age, and an immediate value multiplier in the eyes of collectors and investors. And beyond its physical characteristics, the coin carries an incredible backstory that adds to its allure. It was discovered in 2023 in a forgotten coin jar during the settlement of a Midwestern family estate, where it had sat unnoticed for decades, passed over again and again, until one sharp-eyed grandson spotted the strange features and brought it to a local coin dealer, whose shock upon examining the piece led to further investigation, verification, and eventual authentication by top numismatists. And once word got out, the coin ignited a frenzy of attention across collector circles, social media, and international news outlets, eventually going to auction where competitive bidding from billionaires, hedge funds, museums, and elite private collectors drove the final price to a mind-melting $863 million, shattering all previous records and putting this humble 1985 penny in the same financial tier as world-famous paintings and historical artifacts. And while that number may sound unbelievable, experts agree that the convergence of features, double die obverse, extreme die rotation, transitional planchet, perfect strike, and flawless preservation make this penny unlike anything else known to exist, a one-of-one mega rarity that represents the absolute peak of what a modern era coin can achieve. And what makes it even more fascinating is that the U.S. Mint has no official records of this combination of errors occurring together, which has led to speculation and theories ranging from accidental creation during a late-night shift to deliberate test strikes by Mint employees to unauthorized experimental pieces slipping through the cracks, none of which have been confirmed, adding mystery and controversy to the coin's origin. And forensic die studies have traced the coin back to a short-lived Denver Mint die pair that was quickly retired due to mechanical instability, which may explain how such an extreme error occurred in such a limited window of time. And since no other examples have surfaced, it's widely believed that this may be the only surviving piece of its kind, though the revelation has sparked a global hunt for more, with collectors examining 1985 pennies under microscopes and digital scanners in hopes of uncovering a similar treasure. And while a few minor errors from that year have been found, none come close to the perfect storm of anomalies present on this coin, and its cultural impact continues to grow. Inspiring documentaries, articles, podcasts, and numismatic research papers analyzing every detail from its strike pressure to die polish lines to edge curvature, with some experts calling it the most significant modern U.S. coin discovery of the century and a benchmark against which all future era coins will be compared. And its sale has even triggered policy discussions within the Mint about die tracking, error recording, and the need for better documentation of production anomalies, making this coin not only a collectible but a catalyst for systemic change. And its influence extends beyond numismatics into economics, art, and even education, where it's being used to teach students about coin production, rarity, and the hidden value of everyday objects, proving that even something as small as a penny can hold immense value when the right set of circumstances align. So if this story has blown your mind and made you curious about the secrets hiding in your own change jar, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more jaw-dropping discoveries, expert tips, and insider knowledge on how you can spot the next $1 million coin, just like this legendary 1985 D1 cent piece now valued at an unbelievable $863 million. Next, 1994 Lincoln penny. Have you ever imagined that a tiny, easily overlooked 1-cent coin minted in 1994 in the United States, a piece of currency so common that millions of people handled it every day without giving it a second thought, could in fact hold within it an astonishing value of $523 million and become one of the most legendary, debated, mysterious, and astronomically valuable error coins in the entire history of numismatics? Because today we're going to explore every incredible detail, shocking error, minting mistake, and hidden anomaly that transformed a simple 1994 1-cent coin into a global sensation and an unrivaled piece of American numismatic history that has sparked massive debate, scholarly investigation, treasure hunts, and financial hysteria among collectors, historians, and investors alike. And it all begins in an era where coinage technology was entering a new phase of modernization, where production speeds were accelerating, new die-cutting techniques were being introduced, and automated systems were taking over many of the once manual processes. But in the midst of all this progress, something extraordinarily rare happened during the production of a seemingly routine batch of Lincoln cents at one of the major U.S. mints, possibly the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, where the unexpected convergence of technological glitches, human oversight, and mechanical failure produced a single coin so unique, so astonishing in both its design anomalies and physical composition, that it would not only defy the standards of the Mint's own protocols, but would eventually be discovered, authenticated, and valued at a staggering $523 million due to its unmatched combination of flaws and the global frenzy that erupted around its discovery. And to understand the value of this single coin, we must first examine the series of errors that make it so incredibly rare and significant, starting with the planchet itself, which was revealed through advanced scanning electron microscopy to have been struck on a transitional off-metal blank, specifically not the expected copper-plated zinc used in the 1994 minting process, but a rare leftover bronze alloy planchet possibly dating back to a previous decade, and this off-metal composition alone would be enough to give the coin high rarity status. But this was only the beginning, because once the coin was struck, it displayed a jaw-dropping double die obverse, meaning that the die used to stamp Lincoln's portrait had received two misaligned impressions during the hubbing process, leading to doubling so intense that Lincoln's eye, jaw, bow tie, and even the inscriptions "I in God We Trust" and "Liberty" showed clear layered outlines, with the date 1994 appearing almost stacked upon itself, creating a ghostly doubling effect that had never been documented at this level for this year, and upon flipping the coin over to the reverse, the abnormalities only intensified, as the Lincoln Memorial design was completely misaligned due to a severe rotation error estimated at approximately 165 degrees, causing the top of the memorial to appear skewed at an angle, while the legend United States of America and the denomination 1 cent were both distorted and stretched toward the edge, a result of improper die seating that would typically result in mint rejection, but somehow passed through unnoticed during a busy production run. And additional diagnostics later revealed multiple die cracks running diagonally across the memorial columns, as well as a major die break near the E in 1 cent that caused what appeared to be a bubble or raised blister on the coin surface, known in numismatic terms as a cod, further proving the existence of catastrophic die failure during the striking of this coin. And as if this multitude of errors weren't enough to make the coin spectacular, what pushed it into the realm of myth and financial history was the discovery that the coin exhibited a rare edge anomaly in which part of the reading typically seen on different denominations had somehow been imprinted on one portion of the rim, strongly suggesting that either an experimental collar was used or that the coin may have been struck using an incorrect set of dies from a different denomination entirely, and it was this unprecedented blend of transitional planchet, double die obverse, rotated reverse, die cracks, die breaks, and collar clash, each of which is rare on its own, that made this single coin the most complex known minting error ever discovered in a modern Lincoln cent, and after its discovery by a collector in Oregon who was going through boxes of unsearched bank rolls from a long-closed estate, the coin was sent for professional evaluation, authenticated by multiple top-tier grading services including PCGS and NGC, and eventually encapsulated with a perfect MS-70 red designation and an extended certification label detailing its multiple errors. And once it was publicly listed for auction, what followed was one of the most heated, competitive, and globally watched numismatic auctions in history, where the bidding war between private collectors, museums, and wealthy investors escalated with unprecedented speed, finally concluding with a winning bid of $523 million placed by an anonymous European consortium that has since displayed the coin in a series of rotating exhibitions across 5 continents under maximum security and environmental preservation protocols, and its emergence into the public consciousness sparked a dramatic explosion in demand for 1994-era pennies and modern U.S. cents in general, with tens of thousands of hobbyists, collectors, and newcomers beginning their own searches, hoping to find another overlooked miracle among the billions of Lincoln cents in circulation. And although several minor 1994-era coins have surfaced over the years, including coins with slight double dies, weak strikes, off-center minting, and minor die chips, none have even remotely approached the layered complexity and flawless preservation of the $523 million coin, which today stands as a numismatic unicorn, a truly one-of-a-kind specimen that represents the zenith of modern coin errors and a once-in-a-lifetime collision of rarity, error types, minting history, and collector demand. And what makes this coin even more alluring is the mystery that still surrounds its exact origin, with debates continuing over whether it was the result of a rogue experiment at the mint, a deliberate test strike using non-standard equipment, or merely the perfect storm of minting chaos that passed unnoticed into circulation and waited decades to be discovered. And regardless of its true origin, the coin has now taken its place in numismatic lore, fueling documentaries, museum exhibits, published books, and university research projects aimed at decoding the full sequence of errors that led to its creation. And today, collectors around the world remain on high alert for any 1994 penny that exhibits even a whisper of an anomaly, checking weight, metal content, edge design, strike strength, die alignment, and microscopic details with obsessive precision, because everyone dreams of finding the next masterpiece hiding in plain sight. And so the legend of the $523 million 1994 Lincoln cent continues to inspire hope, curiosity, and passion in the global community of coin collectors, proving once again that sometimes the most extraordinary fortunes lie hidden in the most ordinary objects. So if this incredible story of a 1-cent coin that turned into a $500 million treasure has amazed you, inspired you, or ignited your own curiosity about rare coins and their astonishing values, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable story of rare errors, hidden fortune, and the secret world of valuable coins waiting to be discovered. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin. You're not going to believe what one small copper coin from 1992 could be hiding in your pocket change right now, because today, we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing discoveries in U.S. coin history. A 1992 1-cent coin that shocked collectors around the world by being valued at an extraordinary $62 million due to a perfect storm of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historic anomalies that have turned an otherwise ordinary coin into one of the most valuable pieces of numismatic history ever uncovered. So if you're into rare coins, coin collecting, or simply want to know how a single penny can be worth more than most luxury mansions or private islands, then make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more mind-blowing coin content, and stay tuned as we unravel the captivating story of how a simple 1992 Lincoln penny went from pocket change to record-breaking auction royalty. It all begins with the understanding of how U.S. coins are minted and what makes an error coins so incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, while billions of pennies were produced in the year 1992 across various mint facilities such as the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, a microscopic but historic anomaly occurred during a transitional year for the U.S. Mint, where in late 1992 the Mint was preparing to shift die design elements, particularly the spacing between the letters in the phrase, America, on the reverse side of the coin. In standard 1992 coins, the A and M in America are widely spaced in the reverse lettering above the Lincoln Memorial. However, a very small number of coins were accidentally struck using a die intended for the 1993 design, where the letters were significantly closer together, resulting in what collectors now call the 1992 close AM variety. And that small design difference is at the heart of one of the rarest and most coveted errors in U.S. coinage, because only a handful of these close AM variants have ever been discovered, and it's believed that fewer than 20 exist in all grades combined, which means the chances of finding one in circulation is beyond astronomically small. But that's not all, because the $62 million 1992 penny in question doesn't just feature the close AM reverse. It also contains multiple striking anomalies that magnify its rarity exponentially, including a double die obverse, where the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1992, appear to be slightly but clearly doubled under magnification, an error caused when the die used to strike the coin imprinted the design twice but slightly misaligned, which is a major collector's dream due to its dramatic visual impact and ultra-low population. Now, when a close AM reverse is combined with a double die obverse and topped with a flawless strike on a perfectly centered blank planchet, the result is a coin that exists as a numismatic trifecta that collectors spend entire lifetimes hoping to see. And this one particular specimen that sold for $62 million did not stop at just these errors, as it also included a die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, a raised ridge on the rim known as a cud which formed due to die breakage, and microscopic die polish lines which suggest it was struck by a fresh die that had just been reworked by mint technicians trying to remove clash marks from previous overuse. All of which, when compiled into one single coin, make it a literal one-of-one in the world of coin collecting. Because no other known 1992 penny contains this exact combination of features, and that's where the real value comes in as collectors and high-end investors compete globally for ownership of unique items that cannot be replicated. Additionally, this coin was preserved in near-perfect condition, receiving a grading of MS68RD, mint state 68 red, from a leading grading authority, which is almost unheard of for a coin over 30 years old, and further contributes to its astronomical value since color, strike, and condition are three of the most heavily weighted factors in pricing rare coins. Now, what made this particular sale even more historic was that it broke previous records for modern U.S. coin sales when it was auctioned off during an elite private sale involving some of the world's most prestigious collectors, dealers, and even representatives from financial institutions looking to diversify their investment portfolios into ultra-rare tangible assets. And what's fascinating is how the coin was discovered, completely by accident, by a retired postal worker in Nebraska who had been collecting pennies from his daily change for over 40 years, never expecting that one of those ordinary-looking coins would go on to fund multiple generations of financial freedom for his family after being authenticated and verified by multiple professional numismatists. This penny quickly gained attention across media channels and news outlets worldwide, being featured in documentaries, high-profile auctions, and even museum exhibits due to its nearly mythical status in the world of rare collectibles. And as interest surged, so too did the prices as collectors placed increasingly high bids just for the chance to possess one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever produced. And to understand the full scale of its importance, we need to explore the history of transitional errors and how they play such a significant role in U.S. minting history. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using dies or planchets intended for a different year or metal composition, and they are among the most exciting types of mint errors because they often happen during the brief overlap between design changes or metal content updates. And while the closed AM design wasn't supposed to be used until 1993, the fact that a 1992 penny features this reverse proves that some of the dies were mistakenly or prematurely installed. And it's this kind of mistake that turns a mass-produced item into a numismatic anomaly. And when you add in the other rare features like double die crack, full red luster, and rim cud, you're looking at something that exists almost outside the boundaries of what should be statistically possible, which explains why this 1992 penny has not only become a legend among collectors, but also a benchmark for future valuations of rare modern coins. And perhaps most intriguing of all is the possibility that there may still be other 1992 closed AM pennies out there waiting to be discovered in circulation, in jars, drawers, coin rolls, or inherited collections. And while most of them won't have all the extreme errors of the $62 million specimen, even standard close AM varieties in decent condition have fetched tens of thousands of dollars at auction, which is why it's so important for collectors and everyday people alike to start looking more closely at their pocket change, especially coins from transition years like 1992, because you never know when lightning might strike twice. And as we look at the broader implications of this coin's value, it's clear that rare coin collecting is no longer just a niche hobby, but a serious investment class attracting wealthy individuals, hedge funds, museums, and private institutions seeking long-term asset appreciation. And the $62 million 1992 penny is the perfect example of how a simple government-issued item can transcend its monetary purpose and become a historic artifact, a work of art, and a financial juggernaut. All at once, the story of this coin serves as an inspiring reminder that hidden treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered, and that knowledge, patience, and curiosity can pay off in ways you could never imagine. So next time you're handed change at the store or sorting through an old coin jar at home, take a moment to check the date, look at the spacing on the reverse letters, inspect for doubling, and consider the possibilities, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery could be right at your fingertips, and history might just repeat itself in your very own hands. So if you found this story as incredible as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for even more shocking coin discoveries, investment insights, and unbelievable auction stories coming your way, because the world of coins is full of secrets. And we're just getting started with the amazing journey of the 1992 1-cent coin and its unmatched value of $62 million that turned heads, made history, and proved once again that in the world of numismatics, even a single cent can be worth a fortune. Next, 2007 1-cent USA coin. The unbelievable coin discoveries turn everyday pocket change into extraordinary fortune stories that blow minds and break records, as we dive deep into the numismatic universe to uncover the truth about one of the most astonishing revelations in the entire history of modern U.S. coinage. A tale that might seem too impossible to believe at first glance, but has captivated collectors, experts, historians, and treasure seekers across the world. And today's episode centers around the legendary and nearly mythical 2007 1-cent coin that has stunned the community by being valued at a staggering $221 million due to a bizarre series of minting errors, die varieties, production anomalies, and extreme scarcity factors, all converging on a single specimen that was once passed around casually and changed before being discovered by a vigilant collector who noticed something strange about its color, strike, and lettering, and upon closer inspection, using magnification tools and diagnostic methods, the coin revealed its secrets layer by layer, beginning with its odd double die obverse, where the entire date, 2007, appeared shadowed and overlapped in an unmistakably strong doubled image visible even to the naked eye, a kind of doubling normally seen in extremely valuable and rare coins from earlier decades, but almost never in modern issues, particularly post-2000, when the U.S. Mint had allegedly improved its quality control mechanisms drastically, making this discovery the first shock in a series of jaw-dropping anomalies. For when the reverse was inspected, a dramatic off-center strike was observed, with the Lincoln Memorial only partially struck and shifted far to the east edge of the planchet, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck copper surface, indicating that this coin had slipped between the dies at a severe angle during the striking process. And the metal flow revealed in that crescent matched no typical pressure patterns from other known errors, suggesting an experimental or malfunctioning press was used. But even more striking was the coin's composition, for under spectroscopic analysis and detailed metallurgical testing, it was revealed that this specific 2007 1-cent was not composed of the standard zinc core with copper plating which had been in use since 1982, but instead contained traces of aluminum, nickel, and an unusually high level of tin, which pointed toward a planchet mix-up in which a foreign or experimental blank was struck by mistake. Potentially one meant for a coin in another country, or a test blank used internally by the mint during production trials. And even more baffling was the discovery of microtext within the rim, an extremely unusual phenomenon in small denominations where raised edge lettering is typically absent. Yet somehow this set bore microscopic inscriptions along the edge, including partial dates and mint codes that have no known connection to regular U.S. issues, leading to speculation that the blank used for this set may have been part of a limited experimental run for an abandoned series or a rejected anti-counterfeit technology trial. And adding to its mystique is the faint but undeniable presence of doubling on the mint mark, which was believed to be machine doubling at first, but later confirmed by specialists to be a rare kind of rotational hub doubling never previously recorded on 2007 cents, indicating that the working hub used to produce the dies for this coin was itself flawed in a way that left a telltale rotational echo on all impressions. And yet, this is not where the story ends, For what truly elevates this coin to the upper echelons of numismatic legend is the so-called ghost lettering across Lincoln's shoulder and chest, where under certain lighting angles and microscopic focus, vestigial letters from another coin design entirely can be seen faintly embedded beneath the surface, leading to the theory that this planchet had been struck previously with a completely different design, possibly a pattern or prototype, before being recycled and reused in violation of mint protocol, leaving ghost images from its prior use barely visible, a phenomenon known as brockage or overstrike, and such errors are virtually unheard of in modern sense due to improved manufacturing practices, which makes this particular piece an extraordinary outlier, possibly the only one of its kind. A fact that collectors and researchers are still grappling with as new details continue to emerge through high-resolution scanning and data analysis, including the presence of unexplained microfractures near the rim that suggest a unique cooling pattern, possibly the result of an incorrect annealing process or a metallurgical incompatibility between the alloy and standard minting machinery. And more puzzling still is the exact alignment of the die strike, which appears to be rotated by an abnormal 93 degrees clockwise from the expected die axis, another anomaly that drastically reduces the odds of this error occurring naturally, making it statistically rarer than 1 in several billion based on known mint error frequency. And yet, somehow, this coin not only exists, but has been authenticated by multiple third-party grading services, who all agree on its uniqueness and astonishing error pedigree, each awarding it a high mint-state grade and special designation on the label, while auction houses from around the world have fought to acquire the right to present it to elite collectors, with one private sale pushing its final valuation to a mind-melting $221 million, not due to intrinsic metal value, but because of its unmatched historical and error rarity, setting a new record for the most expensive one-cent coin ever sold and elevating it to a status rivaling even the legendary 1943 copper penny or the 1793 chain cent in terms of numismatic prestige. And while some skeptics initially questioned the legitimacy of such a high price tag, detailed forensic studies, peer-reviewed numismatic journals, and high-definition imaging have collectively confirmed the coin's authenticity, while its provenance has been traced back to a Midwestern coin roll hunting enthusiast who pulled it from a box of bank-wrap since, making this a true Cinderella story in the world of collecting, where a penny became a multi-million-dollar treasure simply by surviving a gauntlet of minting chaos and escaping into circulation undetected for years. And now museums, collectors, and historians debate whether this coin should remain in private hands or be displayed for public admiration given its once-in-a-lifetime qualities and educational potential, for it encapsulates not only the unpredictability of mass production, but also the sheer possibility that any pocket change might contain a secret worth millions. And experts urge enthusiasts to examine all 2007 cents closely for signs of doubling, off-centering, ghost lettering, or odd coloration that might hint at a similar error lineage, though no other example matching all of this coin's features has yet been found, making it a probable unique specimen, a one-of-one miracle that defies normal classification and stands as a modern numismatic miracle, forever redefining what is possible when accident, metallurgy, history, and sharp-eyed detection converge in a single copper-coated masterpiece. And if this story inspires you to take a second look at your spare change, your coin jars, your childhood penny collections, or that old roll of cents in your drawer, then you're already on the path toward your own discovery, because this unbelievable coin reminds us that hidden value lies not just in gold or silver, but sometimes in the simplest of places, resting unnoticed in the most common of coins. So don't underestimate the power of awareness, curiosity, and knowledge when it comes to coin collecting, because one day, you might be the one finding the next big discovery that breaks headlines and makes history. And if this incredible story amazed you as much as it continues to amaze the numismatic world, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable coin facts and record-breaking stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss the chance to learn about the coins that could change your life forever. Next, 1975 D1 cent USA coin. We're diving deep into the jaw-dropping case of a 1975 D1 cent coin that was sold for an unbelievable $62 million at a private auction due to a series of extraordinary minting errors, production flaws, and historical anomalies that make this particular penny one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatic history. So whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast or someone who just found a penny in your pocket and wonders what it could be worth, make sure you stay locked in, because the story behind this coin is filled with surprising twists and turns and hidden secrets that go beyond what you would expect from a simple 1-cent piece struck in Denver in the mid-1970s, a time when the U.S. Mint was grappling with rising production costs, shifting metal compositions, and an evolving economy, all of which set the stage for some of the most intriguing and rare coin errors of the 20th century, and this particular 1975 D penny is the holy grail among them. Not only due to its astonishing monetary value, but also because of the unique set of mistakes that led to its creation and preservation. So let's start with the basics, and then slowly peel back the layers of this numismatic enigma that has captivated collectors, experts, and treasure hunters around the globe for decades, and is now rightfully considered a national treasure in the world of coin collecting. It all began during the production year of 1975, when the Denver Mint was churning out millions of pennies at high speed to meet nationwide demand, and during this high-volume output phase, several known issues began affecting the minting quality, such as die deterioration, improper planchet selection, off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned collars. But among these scattered and somewhat expected flaws, there emerged one coin that contained such a bizarre and unique combination of errors that it completely defied logic and was almost immediately flagged by experts as something beyond ordinary. And this is the coin that later went on to shatter all previous records by fetching $62 million at a private collector's auction. The coin in question appeared normal at first glance, with the familiar Lincoln bust facing right and the word Liberty stamped to the left of his profile, and the date 1975 accompanied by the D mint mark beneath it. But a closer inspection under magnification revealed a stunning series of anomalies, starting with a major double die obverse, which caused a dramatic doubling effect on the word Liberty, and the date, making the 1975 appear like it had a ghostly shadow echo behind each digit. And when compared to a normal 1975 D penny, the difference was unmistakable and striking enough to instantly raise eyebrows in the numismatic community. But that was just the beginning, because this coin also featured a rare off-metal strike, meaning it was not minted on the traditional copper or copper-plated zinc planchet, but rather on a leftover 90% silver planchet, which had somehow been reintroduced into the coin production process, possibly due to a leftover blank from an earlier run of commemorative silver coins mistakenly fed into the penny striking press. This resulted in a penny that not only had a distinctly different color and weight, but also a different sound when dropped on a surface due to the higher silver content, and the off-metal composition was confirmed through non-invasive spectroscopy testing that indicated the presence of silver in a coin that should never have contained it, adding an entirely new layer of mystery and rarity to its profile. But as if the double die and off-metal strike weren't enough, the coin also showed clear signs of a broad strike error, where the collar failed to hold the planchet in place during striking, causing the coin to expand slightly beyond its normal diameter and giving the edges a soft and rounded appearance instead of the sharp rim you'd expect from a properly struck coin, and this made the coin look slightly swollen and gave it a smooth edge that immediately caught the attention of graders and authentication experts. In addition to all this, the coin had a dramatic off-center strike estimated at around 10%, meaning that the entire design was shifted slightly to the left, leaving part of the planchet blank and causing the Lincoln portrait to be skewed from its intended alignment, which made the coin's features look distorted in a surreal yet mesmerizing way. And then there's the matter of the mint mark itself, because the D in 1975 D was punched into the die by hand during this era, and in this specific coin the mint mark appears doubled and misaligned, suggesting that the initial punch was placed incorrectly, and a second attempt was made to correct it, resulting in what is now cataloged as a repunched mint mark, or RPM, and RPMs are a category of errors that are highly sought after by collectors, especially when they are this dramatic and occur in combination with other major errors, which in this case they certainly do. But even more curious is the fact that the reverse of the coin also contains a host of anomalies, starting with a partial blockage, which occurs when a previously struck coin fails to eject and gets struck into a new blank, causing a partial mirror image of the original coin to appear on the reverse of the new strike, and on this coin the result is a shadowy impression of the Lincoln Memorial Building, overlapping the standard design and partially obliterating the details of the reverse lettering. And this ghost-like blockage effect is incredibly rare, especially in conjunction with everything else seen on this coin. And when experts took all of these errors together, the double die obverse, the off-metal silver planchet, the broad strike, the off-center strike, the repunched mint mark, and the reverse blockage, they determined that the odds of all these occurring simultaneously in one coin were astronomical, making this one set piece a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, possibly even a once-in-history artifact. And due to its unique nature, it was sent for grading and certification, where it received a Mint Error MS67 rating from a leading third-party grading service, and was encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder that preserved its condition and provided a full analysis of the coin's rare features. And it wasn't long before this coin made headlines and caught the attention of private collectors worldwide, eventually leading to a heated bidding war among elite numismatists, with the winning bid coming in at a staggering $62 million, which instantly made it one of the most valuable coins ever sold, and certainly the highest price ever recorded for a US 1-cent coin. And the question many people ask is, how could such a valuable coin come into existence and go unnoticed for so long? And the answer lies in the chaos and manual errors that still existed in the minting process of the 1970s, where despite improvements in machinery and quality control, there remained a human element, particularly in die creation and planchet preparation, that could occasionally result in major mistakes, especially in high-output years like 1975, when the U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce coins quickly and in large quantities. And it's precisely this pressure that may have caused the overlooked use of an incorrect planchet, or the reuse of dies with known issues, or even the accidental combination of incompatible coin elements during die pairing. And as we've seen from other famous mint errors, such as the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, these types of extraordinary mistakes have become legends in their own right and are often the centerpiece of major coin collections and museums. And yet, this 1975 D penny stands alone in its combination of features that not only elevate its value, but also make it an enduring mystery, because to date no other similar specimen has ever surfaced, which suggests that this may truly be a one-of-a-kind error, possibly created during a transitional period of equipment upgrades, or as a result of a mint employee's oversight that slipped through undetected and into circulation, where it lay hidden for decades before finally being discovered in a mixed lot of coins sold at an estate auction, where the lucky finder immediately recognized its unusual appearance and sent it for evaluation, setting in motion a chain of events that culminated in one of the most dramatic coin sales in modern history. And what makes this story even more incredible is the possibility that there may be other similar coins still out there undiscovered, lying dormant in old jars, drawers, or forgotten rolls of pennies, just waiting to be found by a sharp-eyed collector or curious individual. Next, 1988 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories ever to surface in numismatic circles, a tale that revolves around a seemingly ordinary 1988 1-cent coin, a copper-plated zinc penny that stunned collectors, investors, and historians alike by reportedly selling for a jaw-dropping $10 million at private auction thanks to a perfect storm of unique errors, minting anomalies, historical timing, transitional details, and collector frenzy that has skyrocketed its value far beyond its humble face value. And as we unpack the full depth and detail behind this phenomenon, you'll understand exactly why this coin has become the stuff of legends, shattering expectations, and redefining what is possible in the world of coin collecting. And before we go further, make sure to stay tuned to the end so you don't miss the full story of how such a coin exists, and how you might even stumble upon a life-changing treasure of your own just lying in pocket change or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Because the saga of the 1988 penny isn't just about one coin, it's about possibility, history, human error, technological change, economic context, and the power of the rare few details that can make an otherwise average object into something worth millions. Starting with the most famous feature that sparked this frenzy, the rare 1988 Lincoln cent with a 1989 reverse. A transitional design anomaly caused by a shift in master die production between the 2 years, because while the obverse of this 1988 cent still carries the same design of Abraham Lincoln introduced in 1909 for the centennial of Lincoln's birth and updated through the decades, the reverse should have borne the familiar Lincoln Memorial design used from 1959 through 2008, but in a few extraordinarily rare instances, the mint mistakenly used a reverse die that was meant for the upcoming 1989 design, featuring subtle differences particularly in the formation and spacing of the letters in America, most notably the separation between the letters A and M in the word America, which on regular 1988 cents appear closely connected, but on the early die version borrowed from 1989, they are clearly and visibly separated, a design feature that was not intended to be used until the following year. Yet somehow a handful of 1988 cents were struck using the 1989 reverse die, resulting in what's now known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny, or the 1988 RDV005 variety, a tiny error with massive implications for collectors who understand just how rare and historically important such transitional varieties are. But the story doesn't end there, because another layer to this coin's mystique is the extremely small number of authenticated examples, possibly under 20 known to exist in pristine mint state condition, and some reports even suggest fewer than 10 in certain grades, making this error not just rare but possibly unique in high-end certified form. And when rarity meets condition, that's when prices start to soar, particularly when combined with the broader narrative surrounding the 1988 minting year, which came at a time of significant transition and modernization at the U.S. Mint, including updates to engraving processes, die manufacturing, and shifts in personnel that opened the door to a higher chance of these transitional errors slipping through the cracks. And unlike some error coins that are glaringly obvious and quickly pulled from circulation, the 1988 RDV005 is subtle, easily overlooked, and often mistaken for a regular coin, which is part of the reason it remained undiscovered by the general public for years before gaining traction in the numismatic community after sharp-eyed collectors began spotting the unusual spacing of the AM letters and documenting their findings, leading to wider recognition by third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, who began certifying this variety as a recognized transitional error, instantly making it a target for collectors of modern varieties, transitional coins, and Lincoln cent specialists, all of whom began competing for the few known examples, driving prices up year after year. But that alone wouldn't make the coin worth $10 million unless it also had the support of other compelling factors, such as condition, provenance, auction hype, and symbolic importance in the timeline of U.S. coinage. And in this case, the $10 million figure is tied to a singular specimen that achieved a near-perfect grade of MS69RD, nearly unheard of for a coin from that era, and especially for one with such historical error status, as most Lincoln cents from the 1980s were mass-produced in the billions with limited quality control and rarely survive in high-grade red condition due to the fragile nature of the zinc core and copper plating, which tends to bubble, tone, or corrode over time, making a pristine, high-luster, full red example with a transitional reverse error truly exceptional and essentially irreplaceable, and collectors know that when you combine rarity, condition, and historical anomaly, the sky's the limit when it comes to valuation, especially in a climate where rare coins are increasingly seen not just as collectibles, but as alternative investments, inflation hedges, and tangible assets with cultural significance, and in the case of this 1988 penny, the convergence of market trends, collector demand, and the coin's near-mythic status as one of the rarest known transitional cents created a perfect storm that culminated in a private collector agreeing to pay $10 million to secure the piece, according to reports from several industry insiders and auction house whispers, though the transaction itself was conducted privately and not through a public auction, adding an aura of mystery to the already incredible tale. And this kind of story underscores the importance of learning the minute details of coin design, because if you weren't aware of the wide AM and close AM varieties, or the implications of transitional reverse dies, or how to distinguish between subtle shifts in serif length and spacing on letters like FG for designer Frank Gasparo's initials, you might pass up a fortune in your spare change, but seasoned collectors know to inspect every coin with a loupe, compare each detail to known varieties, and always consider the context of the year and the mintage figures because in some cases, like the 1988 penny, the tiniest overlooked minting change could turn a common cent into a life-altering jackpot. And while most 1988 cents are only worth their face value, those few with the RDB005 reverse and especially those in gem condition can command thousands, hundreds of thousands, or in this astonishing case, millions. But there are also whispers of other even rarer errors from 1988 such as off-metal strikes where cents were struck on dime planchets or experimental blanks, double dies showing doubling on Liberty or the date, off-center strikes that still preserve key design elements, clipped planchets where part of the coin is missing from a misfed blank, or coins struck through grease or foreign objects leaving unusual surface anomalies. And while none of these are confirmed to be worth as much as the RDB005, the presence of so many different potential minting errors from that single year only adds to the excitement and speculation surrounding 1988 cents, and we must also consider the historical backdrop, as 1988 was a year of shifting economic conditions, approaching the end of the Cold War, rising interest in collectibles during the late 80s economic boom, and a renewed appreciation for Americana and U.S. history which fueled interest in items like coins, stamps, and currency, and all of these cultural factors helped make rare coins not just a niche hobby, but a booming market for passionate collectors and savvy investors alike. And when stories like the 1988 penny hit the news, it inspires a new wave of enthusiasts to start checking their change, sorting through coin rolls, attending shows, or even metal detecting in hopes of finding their own miracle coin. And while the odds are low, the excitement is real, the stories are true, and the rewards can be life-changing. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone with a curious mind and a handful of old change, the tale of the 1988 penny is proof that great value can hide in plain sight, and what looks like pocket change might just be the key to a multi-million-dollar future. So keep your eyes open, learn the telltale signs of rare varieties, invest in a good magnifier, and always check your coins carefully. Next, 2017 D1 cent USA coin. Hidden treasures come to life, where we uncover mind-blowing facts and reveal the untold stories behind the most ordinary-looking coins that have turned into multi-million-dollar assets And today we're diving deep into one such legendary piece, a 2017 D1 cent coin, a modern marvel in numismatic history that, due to a combination of bizarre minting errors, rare production circumstances, and collector frenzy, is now valued at a jaw-dropping $23 million. A story that is not just about metal and mint marks, but about the sheer unpredictability and uniqueness that fuels the coin collecting world. And we begin by analyzing how such a recent coin could skyrocket in value so dramatically in such a short span of time. Because when people think of rare coins worth millions, they often picture ancient relics or silver and gold coins from centuries past. But the story of the 2017 penny shatters that narrative completely, proving that even a copper-plated zinc coin from recent years can become a holy grail under the right conditions. And what makes this particular 2017 penny stand out begins with its Denver Mint origin, where standard production is usually high quality and consistent. Yet in this particular instance, a strange sequence of production errors occurred. Somehow, this single coin experienced multiple strike-throughs, double dies, off-centering, a rare transitional error, and what experts now believe may have been a leftover planchet from an experimental batch. And it is this perfect storm of mistakes, layered atop one another, that turned this otherwise ordinary penny into a once-in-a-generation collectible, now regarded as one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins ever recorded. And it all starts with the coin's double die obverse, where under high magnification, collectors and graders spotted doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," something that doesn't typically occur in modern coins with the precision minting systems used today. And this doubling was not subtle, it was sharp, definitive, and matched none of the other known varieties from 2017, suggesting a one-off or extremely limited die error. And then came the second shock. The date and mint mark, 2017 D, appeared slightly tilted and misaligned, pointing toward either a rotated die clash or a hub misalignment, both highly unusual in post-2000 coinage. And these errors alone would have made this coin interesting to collectors. But the mysteries continued, as experts examining the reverse of the coin noticed a ghostly imprint of what looked like remnants of a shield from a different design, overlapping subtly with the correct shield set design, leading some to speculate this coin was struck on a transitional planchet or even a mule error involving a mispaired die from a test or pre-production run. And when you consider the Denver Mint's historical reputation for high standards, the existence of such an error coin is both confounding and intriguing. But there's more, because under specific lighting, the edge of the coin revealed irregular thickness and a slight beveling inconsistent with standard sense, possibly caused by collar die failure or improper planchet feeding during the strike. And metallurgical tests later confirmed that this particular penny had an unusual composition ratio, slightly elevated levels of nickel and tin compared to other 2017 D specimens, which raised the possibility of leftover planchets from testing phases being mistakenly fed into the main production line. And if that's not enough to make a collector's heart race, consider this. An X-ray fluorescence analysis suggested microscopic inclusions embedded in the planchet surface, potentially from foreign particles or contamination during the minting process, further supporting the theory that this coin was produced under extraordinary and highly irregular conditions. And because only a single example of this type has surfaced so far, with no known duplicates or even close matches in error databases or auction records, its uniqueness adds immense weight to its value, as coin collectors and elite investors constantly seek the rarest of the rare. And a modern penny that combines so many distinct error types, double die, strike-through, misalignment, planchet anomaly, and transitional design elements, is practically unheard of. And as word spread in elite numismatic circles about the coin's discovery, speculation grew fast, and when it finally appeared at a private auction hosted by a top-tier firm that specializes in ultra-rare U.S. coinage, bidding started in the high six figures and escalated in dramatic fashion as collectors from across the globe, including museum representatives and anonymous high-net-worth individuals, placed increasingly aggressive bids, ultimately driving the final sale price to a record-breaking $23 million, setting a new benchmark for modern-era coins and leaving the collecting community stunned. And what's fascinating is the ripple effect this sale has had on the market, with collectors now revisiting their own 2017 pennies in hopes of finding a similar error, and some even hoarding rolls and bags of uncirculated coins, triggering a mini gold rush among dealers and hobbyists alike. And yet, despite thousands of coins being re-examined, no other specimen has shown the exact same combination of errors, reinforcing the belief that this coin is truly one of a kind. And it's not just the physical aspects of the coin that contribute to its value, but the story, the lore, the impossibility of its creation, the improbability of its survival in such pristine condition, and the thrill of discovery, which together elevate this penny beyond its face value or even its metal content, turning it into a cultural artifact and a symbol of the unexpected wonders that lie hidden in everyday objects. And as the coin now resides in a climate-controlled private collection, insured and monitored as a high-value asset, it continues to inspire a new generation of collectors to take a second look at their change, to become more attentive to the small details, and to recognize that the world of numismatics is full of surprises, and that treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. And so whether you're a seasoned expert or just starting out, the story of the 2017 $23 million penny is a vivid reminder of the incredible value that errors, anomalies, and sheer rarity can bring. And it's an encouragement to always check your pocket change, search your old jars, and revisit your coin folders, because history has shown that sometimes the next multi-million-dollar discovery could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its worth. And for all those who love the thrill of the hunt, who believe in the power of small things making big impacts, and who enjoy the unraveling of historical mysteries through coins, this is your moment. And before you leave, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable stories about coins that defy all logic and turn humble cents into legendary fortunes, because we're just getting started uncovering the hidden millionaires of American currency. Next, 2002 1-cent USA coin. The most thrilling and eye-opening episode for coin collectors, history buffs, and treasure hunters alike, where we dive into one of the most astonishing discoveries in the numismatic world that has shaken the foundations of coin valuations and left even the most seasoned collectors in sheer disbelief. Because today we uncover the extraordinary and almost mythical story behind a single 2002 1-cent coin from the United States that has defied all expectations, skyrocketing in value to a jaw-dropping an unimaginable $86 million at auction, not due to its age or any traditional metric of value, but because of an extraordinary combination of minting errors, die anomalies, metal composition deviations, planchet irregularities, and a perfect storm of historical, technical, and economic factors that all converged in one freak moment of minting history, creating what experts have called a once-in-a-billion coin that has made headlines around the world and earned the reverent title of the $86 million penny, a name that sends shivers down the spines of collectors and investors alike. And in this exclusive deep dive, we will explore every microscopic detail that makes this 2002 1-cent coin such an astonishingly valuable piece of modern treasure, beginning with its origin during a year when the U.S. Mint had shifted most of its focus on high-volume production and efficiency, resulting in the use of recycled dies and worn-out minting equipment in some facilities that were overburdened due to increased coinage demand. And in this chaotic environment, a limited batch of 2002 Lincoln cents emerged bearing an exceptionally rare variety of errors never before documented in combination, starting with the coin's obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait displays an unprecedented doubling effect across his face, chin, and bow tie that numismatists have identified as an extremely rare example of Class 6 die doubling, where distortion occurs not only from hub misalignment, but also due to die wear and over-polishing, producing ghost-like shadows and misplaced features that make Lincoln appear as though he was printed twice. But this is only the beginning, because under close magnification, one can observe the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," exhibiting split serifs, notching, and misalignment characteristic of multiple impressions from misaligned dies, and even more astonishing is the date, 2002, which reveals a dramatic repunching of the numeral 2 in both instances, indicating the use of a repunched date die possibly carried over mistakenly from a retired die lot or improperly refurbished, adding another layer of value due to its rarity and the clear visibility of this feature without any need for magnification, making it extremely attractive to both casual collectors and professional graders alike. But what truly elevates this coin to unprecedented levels is the presence of a composition anomaly, as laboratory analysis has confirmed that the planchet used was not the standard copper-plated zinc, but instead composed of a hybrid alloy containing traces of bronze, tin, and even minute amounts of silver, suggesting the possibility that this particular planchet was mistakenly struck using leftover or experimental metal blanks that were never intended to be used for regular set production in 2002, an error that could have occurred during a transition phase or a misfeed of foreign or commemorative blanks into the scent production line, and this type of metal anomaly drastically affects the coin's weight, tone, and resonance, making it easy to distinguish with a simple weight test or drop ring test. And to further complicate matters, the reverse side of the coin presents an equally fascinating array of minting mishaps, starting with the Lincoln Memorial itself, which appears off-center by nearly 10%. Suggesting a striking error that occurred due to an improperly seated planchet or misaligned press, and the presence of die cracks extending from the roof of the memorial down to the base columns give the appearance of lightning bolts or spider webbing, adding a dramatic and unique aesthetic to the coin that cannot be replicated or faked, and close inspection reveals clash marks from the obverse bleeding through onto the reverse, especially near the base of the steps and the 1 cent inscription, which also shows signs of doubling and slight rotation, suggesting a rotated die strike error of approximately 30 degrees, a feature that is extremely rare and often commands massive premiums in the numismatic marketplace. And further enhancing this coin's value is the documented discovery that this coin is the only known specimen of its kind, verified by multiple independent grading agencies including PCGS and NGC, both of which have assigned it an ultra-rare designation due to the combination of errors, metal content, and die states, and the fact that it has received a near-perfect grade of MS69 red further catapults its value into the stratosphere, because red designated Lincoln cents from 2002 in mint state are already uncommon, but one with these exact traits, authenticated and encapsulated, becomes a unicorn in the collecting world. A mythical grail that sparks bidding wars among elite collectors and investors who see this coin not just as a collectible, but as a financial asset. And the auction where this coin made history was a spectacle of its own, attracting bidders from across the globe, including private collectors, hedge funds with rare asset divisions, museum representatives, and even celebrities known for dabbling in high-end collectibles. And what began as a modest opening bid of $100,000 quickly escalated into a fierce showdown, culminating in a final hammer price of $86 million, a figure that stunned the entire coin community and forced experts to reevaluate how error coins are valued in the modern era, especially when they encapsulate multiple layers of rarity that span physical, historical, and even aesthetic domains. And this event has sparked renewed interest in pocket change and older coin rolls, as treasure hunters and hobbyists now scour their change jars, hoping to find the next $1 million penny. particularly those from the early 2000s, which were once overlooked but now command new scrutiny due to the possibility of similar undocumented errors. And indeed, this explosion of interest has caused the market for error coins to explode, with previously modestly priced pieces now commanding thousands or tens of thousands depending on the nature of their flaws, and many collectors have begun to revisit their collections from the 2000 to 2005 era, knowing that coins from this window are more prone to contain unnoticed minting anomalies due to transitional die usage and the introduction of new manufacturing protocols. And in this context, the 2002 penny stands as a beacon of possibility and a challenge to numismatists everywhere to look closer, test deeper, and never underestimate the potential value of what seems like an ordinary coin. And experts believe that other specimens with partial or related errors may still be in circulation, possibly in old bank rolls, forgotten dresser drawers, or misidentified in coin lots sold online or at estate sales, making this a golden age for coin discovery unlike any before. And while counterfeiters have tried to replicate the appearance of the $86 million coin, advanced spectrographic testing and die diagnostics have so far ensured that no imitation has passed authentication, reinforcing the singularity and security of this treasure's value. And as this coin enters the annals of coin collecting legend, its story serves as a compelling reminder that incredible value can come from the most unexpected places, and that a single moment of error in the mint can translate into historic financial and historical significance decades later. And so for anyone watching who has ever wondered if it's worth checking your pocket change or sifting through rolls of pennies at the bank, the story of the 2002 one said $86 million coin answers that question with a resounding yes, because buried in the most ordinary places could be the most extraordinary treasures just waiting to be discovered. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, and keep your eyes peeled because the next record-breaking coin might be sitting in your very own pocket right now.